I'm okay. Let's go.
Hello and welcome back, Chicago. Welcome everyone tuning in to another Full Self Session. Here today, honored to be on the road again with Full Self Sessions for the second time to interview a musician who has been around the block quite a lot. An incredible, player, performer who's started on a guitar to accordion to eventually funding the Jerry King Orchestra. We're about to dive into all of it here, but without further ado, everyone, Jerry King himself. Welcome.
Hello, thank you very much. I'm Jerry King, as you mentioned, and I'm honored to be chosen to do this. It's very nice. Thank you for having me.
So excited to sit down with you. I've loved listening to some of your music, and it sounds like it's been quite the journey, for you as a musician, playing professionally since you were 13 years old.
Since I was 13, yes.
Wow. And you got 13, you started at 13 with your dad.
Yes.
Playing with your father.
My father was a guitarist, yes. And I started playing accordion with him on weekends. Kind of hard to remember. We started at the Melody Lounge, Lounge on Division and Pulaski. And I'm trying to remember some of the names. The name of the owner, I just can't recall it. I'm sorry.
No worries. I do have some questions before you started at 13.
Yes, I was 13.
Were you already playing instruments before you started playing out professionally with your dad?
No, I just started taking accordion lessons when I was 9 years old.
9 years old.
Yeah,
okay.
and they had me play the papa.
Okay. Yeah.
and I really liked it. I was playing other songs on a little tiny accordion,
Yeah. So you had a little bit of prep before starting to play out and gigging and all that.
Yes.
What were some of the things you remember about the earlier gigs when you first started playing?
My first gig was, like I said, it was at the Melody Lounge, and I started working there on Friday and Saturday nights.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad was, a piano player there. My father played piano. He was quite a piano player.
Was that the first instrument he learned, the piano?
I think I'm not really sure. He had a guitar too when he was, he played both, but he was one of the best rhythm guitar players I've ever worked with. I mean, and now that he's gone, I even appreciate him more. And what I can remember is everybody's telling, oh, go take piano lessons, you'll be good, But, my father played at the Hollywood Show Lounge at 54 West Randolph in the afternoon, cocktail from 3 to 7, and just piano solo. And the other jobs he got, like he played piano, wherever we would work, he would sit in on a break and play the piano if they had a piano there. But he went to Alan Swain to take lessons, and he played for Alan Swain, and Alan Swain told him to go out and play. You're fine.
Yeah.
He never studied. Wow. He played in 3 keys: D flat, B, and F sharp, all black keys. And he could play. He had a nice. He used to admire Carmen Cavallero, who was a piano player, and he could make those arpeggio runs just like Carmen Cavallero. Yeah, I don't know how in the world he did it. He was great.
That's incredible. Very cool. Was there a specific moment or show you realized music would be your lifelong path?
Oh, when I was 13, I knew that right away. In fact, I think in my autobiography, I said I was 13 and if you're going to display my autobiography, it tells you everything you want to know in there. You know, I knew with the help of God, I have some problems with sickness, but I knew with the grace of God, I was going to, that's what I was going to do all of my life, and I did. I'm 88 now, and I'm hanging in.
It's awesome. The Melody Lounge sounds like a fun place. Sounds like
it was a fun
great
place
to get started out at.
It was a fun, yes, it was a fun place. But all the taverns, we worked in a lot of different taverns in the beginning, and all of them were. They had these huge fans in the 2 of them, 3 of them, and blowing the smoke all around because people could smoke all over, you know.
That's right. You could smoke cigarettes anywhere.
Anywhere. That's right. And that's what they would do. They blow the smoke all around. I don't know how in the world I made it to what I am now. My father never smoked. He never drank. I never took up drinking. But I was kind of a heavy smoker. I was doing like 3-4 packs a day.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was...
The clubs, probably wasn't the best for you. But
no, that's
you're
right.
Still kicking here. When the taverns back then, and you were saying the hotels, even the hotels had orchestras, right?
Oh,
and every place, every club had at least a 5-piece band, right?
At least a 5-piece band, and then the little nightclubs in the hotel would have a little piano, a piano player on the side playing piano. Every hotel had a band at that time. Dick Sarlo was at the Congress Hotel. In fact, my father got a trio together. They called them the Escorts.
Cool.
And they had accordion and organ and guitar.
Cool.
And they had a singer with them, Kitty Kelly. And also another one, Minto Vaughn, I remember that. But they used to broadcast twice a night over WBBM, 2 times, 5 nights a week. And 15-minute show and a half-hour show, twice in one evening. So, and they were there for quite a while, you know. And so when Dad was working those gigs, you know, I told him, Dad, I'd like to go out and work with you sometime, you know. And it got to a point where it was just Dad and myself. We worked together for years. All over, all the taverns, and then the nightclubs and all the millionaires clubs. The ones downtown. There was one we started at the one on Granville and Broadway, and we worked all of the millionaires clubs for Chris Carson. Chris Carson was the owner of the millionaires clubs, and he used to own all the Peter Pan restaurants.
Wow.
Yeah, he owned all the Peter Pan restaurants, and then he opened up the Millionaires Club. Okay. I still have a menu, $8.95 for a filet mignon and unlimited drinks.
Well, you heard that one first here at Fullself Sessions. That's funny. Wow, what a price change.
I've got the menu right
here.
You're
eating right there.
Wow. Anytime you want to see it, you
Speaking
can have
of food, in the earlier days, Paris Inn and Yong Sing, they sounded like quite delicious restaurants there. What was your favorite of the 2?
Yong Sing, the very best. Paris Inn was good. That was at 2744 North Clark.
Yeah.
That was just south of Broadway, and where the intersection, Diversey, Clark and Broadway split there at Diversey, but Yong Sing was in the 2800 block on Clark Street, and they had the best.
That was the superior Chinese food.
Yep.
Wow.
Little Joe the waiter, and Irene the waitress, and I remember, you know. We were working at the Hub Lounge on 512 Diversey for Richard Russo, Buck Russo. He had a lot of problems too. They got a hold of his nightclub. That's in my autobiography.
Before we get further down the line into the Hub, when you were 13, I know it started $5 a night. So what was $5 a night for a musician back then? Like how much?
It was quite a bit of money.
Okay.
Dad used to get $35 for the night. You know.
Okay.
Yeah. And we got to a point where he was supposed to play piano, and then I would come in on an intermission and play the accordion. But it got to a point where Roger Giovanni, I forgot his name, Blanche and Roger, and their son's name was Caesar. He was a concert pianist. He was
That's right, yeah.
Radio station downtown.
So it was pretty good money.
Oh yeah. But it got to the point where I just came in with Dad, and I worked, and I was getting $15 a night plus our tips, and Dad was getting $35 a night, and we were very happy with that, you know. And,
during this era as well, you know, you mentioned the song "Earth Angel" was very popular.
Yes, yeah.
As well as the nearness of
of
you.
Yeah, we were working at the Club Moderne when the Nearness of You came out, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which song of those two did you prefer?
I like them both.
Yeah.
I like
great
all.
songs.
I don't. It's hard for me to remember all of them, but I was a strolling musician, and I honestly knew hundreds and hundreds of songs from memory, and I played them in the right keys. And if the violin players wanted them in a different key, I played them in that key for them too. We used to do a lot of stuff in C and then go to modulate to C sharp. You know.
Yeah.
Work with some singers.
Wow.
Larry Russo was one of the great singers I worked with.
Wow. Well, Jerry, you really have played everywhere, you know, from tiny lounges to some of these, you know, legendary clubs. Which venue stands out the most to you, and why?
Hard question. I'll tell you. I played all the country clubs, all of them. Out here, LaGrange, Oak Brook, all the country clubs. I play all over. One stands out. I used to work with David Romaine. Franz Bentler was more uppity up. He was like, you know, for the muckety muck people, not the everyday. And Dave Romaine, he just played for people. He just loved to play, you know.
Yeah, for the love.
Right, and he had. But we were working at the Monroe Street Yacht Club. David Romaine and a bass player and myself. And I don't even know if I should mention this, but, you know, Franz Bentler won. Well, Franz Bentler's wife, they were divorced. Jan was a piano player and singer, and she was at this affair, not affair, but this here party at the Monroe Street Yacht Club. And she heard us playing, and Franz was a good violin player, but he wasn't Dave Romaine. Dave Romaine was top of the line. He was
mean,
untouchable. He was untouchable, really.
Yeah.
And I felt honored. I was his first call, and that made me feel honored. And but we were there, and Jan was there, Franz's ex-wife, and she said to Dave, she says, you know, Franz couldn't shine your shoes. Of course, there was a little animosity, I think, because of the divorce and that, but she told him right out, she says, you know, David, you are great, she says. And that's stuck out with me, and I thought, you know, hell, Dave is everything that people are saying, you know. He could be a rough guy to work for, you know. And I remember once we went into, I came in, hotel. Oh, the first time I worked for David Romaine, it was 1550 Lakeshore Drive. It was a New Year's Eve party. And we had a bad snowstorm. I lived in Rogers Park. I couldn't get my car out. The only thing I could see on my car was the antenna sticking up. I was in the...
Was this the Great Snowfall?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
19...
I don't even remember. I've been through several of them.
That happens in Chicago.
Right. But I had to pull my accordion down the street on the two, you know, I had like the airline stewards use those two-wheel. And I had my accordion on there, and all the way down to Clark and Devon, got on the bus, took a long time to get from, you know, Devon down to North Avenue. So I made it down to North Avenue. North Avenue is, I think, like 1,600, and Devon is 6,400 north.
Yeah.
But anyways, I got off the bus and I had to lug the accordion all the way to Lakeshore Drive, down, all the way down to 1550. And I got there about 10 minutes early. And when I went in, I thought, God, I made the job on time. It was New Year's Eve party. And I got there at maybe 11:45. And he says, King, we usually get to our jobs a half an hour at least before time, and before starting time. And I said, yes, sir, and I didn't want to go in to explain, that hell, I had a hell of a time getting there.
Yeah.
You couldn't even get a cab.
Yeah.
But it ended up, he was happy. The job went 4 hours. We had a good job. He paid me well.
Okay.
And he always said to me, I played a lot of hotels with him and friends. And Stanley Paul, I worked a lot of jobs with Stanley Paul and Mike Sassetti, a lot of band leaders,
Yeah.
But one thing you would never do is you take a job with somebody for a certain date, especially a Saturday. You never, ever cancel him out because he will never hire you again. You take a job, you're committed. But he paid well. All of them paid well. They weren't chintzy.
Yeah.
They paid you well.
Good to know there were so many clubs, taverns, and places where musicians could get hired. But you're right, like you would have to be committed. You'd have to show up. Commitment showed up in a different way back then.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, it was a commitment. You better show up or your butt's in trouble.
Sounded like a lot of characters, back then. Some friendly and then some unique in their own way. Pete of the Century Club doesn't sound like the most pleasant of folk. Tell us a little bit about how your dad handled Pete, ragging on him about taking those 10-minute breaks.
Well, Dad would, to satisfy him, Dad would sit down and play piano for 10 minutes. And I picked up his guitar, and I was playing guitar in his key, F sharp. So I kind of learned rhythm guitar from my father, to be honest with you. Just
during
by
those
doing
breaks. During those 10-minute breaks.
Yeah, those 10 minutes breaks, I learned a lot, yeah. I used to get sore fingers because I wasn't used to, playing guitar. Your fingers, left hand, take a beating.
That's awesome.
But he used to be, but then there was a lot of stuff about him, about Pete Trugas. He was not a very nice man. He was cheap. He didn't want to pay you. And
it's tough when you have to ask for your check.
Yeah, well,
yeah,
right, yeah. He made you think that, you didn't work hard enough for this, but all in all, it was okay. He used to do things that weren't very kosher, and if somebody have a beer and they didn't finish it, he'd pour it back in the bottle and put water in it, put the cap on it again. And if somebody comes in, let me buy you a drink, and he popped the cap off, they think they're getting a drink, and that's
real cheap.
He was a nasty man. He really was, and I'm glad when we got out of there.
Yeah. So it wasn't too long lived.
No, not that job. And
your dad handled that pretty well.
Yeah, he did.
Limelight Lounge. That sounded like it was really popping.
Oh,
Limelight.
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah,
that was on Broadway. It was just north of Diversity. Oh yes, that was very nice. I was working with Jack Leslie was a bass player. Sandy Dean was a cocktail drummer and singer.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
He was good. And Dad and myself, we had a 4-piece there. And that's when that song Wild Horses came out. It would take more than a pack of wild horses. Very nice.
How about for yourself, Rolling Stones or the Beatles?
Oh, the Beatles.
Beatles, yeah.
It's
a great song, though, Wild Horses.
Oh, yes, it was, yeah. Oh, yeah, we played that, too, But, that was nice. We stayed there quite a while. They liked us there. And then from there, we went out to Club Moderne.
Okay.
And that was nice, 5950 Chicago Avenue. And Trying to remember the name of the owner. He was nice to us. Nice man. You never screw around for a paycheck. And right
Awesome. Very good. Bringing it kind of back to the hub
Yeah.
here, because it really sounds, the hub lounge is where work started to pick up money. Richard Buck Russo really does sound like quite the character.
Oh.
Yeah, can you tell us a little bit more about Buck?
Buck was a great guy. He's the one that took us out to Young Sing 3-4 times a week. We played there 5 nights a week.
The good restaurant.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and he was. I remember one night they had a bar. Well, the length of the tavern, but it used to come along and then go out in the center. That's where the stage was, so people could sit all along the bar, And one night we were up on the stage, Dad and I, and this guy came back there. He was a little drunk. You could enter, go behind the bar at the far end of the bar. There was a door you could lift up, then you go in. Nobody's supposed to go in there. This guy came in, and Buck was around on the other side, and he walked around, and he asked him right out, what the F are you doing behind my bar, and Buck pulled out a .45, and he put it right up to his head. He said, what the F are you doing behind my bar? And the guy, he sobered up right away.
I'm sure.
He says, I wouldn't talk to Jerry. He told him, get out of here.
Yeah. Did Buck ever talk about, the Chicago outfit or any of his interaction?
I think he was mixed in with them.
Yeah.
He was part of, And Dad called me up one Sunday morning. He says, hey, Jerry, he says, they got in Buck's, they got the Hub Lounge they got in Buck's place, They tied up Tommy the porter in the back, and they went into his lounge. Buck was goofing around with one of them, one of the girls that they used to go out with, and they didn't like that. They went in, and his oak bar, they chopped the hell out of his oak bar. On each side of the stage there was a chrome cash register. They split that down, right in the middle. They took all his bar stools and cut them. They broke all of his liquor. And Tommy, a little porter, was in the back. He was a nice guy. I liked Tommy. He laughed, all the time. And but anyway, they had him tied up. They didn't harm anybody.
Was Buck working with them as well at any point, or was this a mix-up?
He was the owner. Buck was the owner of the Hub Lounge. I don't know.
I'm sure he's had quite a lot of
right.
business.
I don't know what
absolutely.
he was.
And he always had a .45. So
yes,
it sounded like.
I remember Louis at the end of the bar. Louis would always, hey, King, play It Had to Be You, and he'd play It Had to Be You. He'd send up a 20, and that. Louis was one of the big guys.
While you were playing there, did you ever notice like the mob coming in?
They were there. They were there a lot.
So
but you know
playing.
what you do? You keep your mouth shut and you respect them, and you say nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You respect them because they were always nice to Dad and myself. We always got along.
Totally.
So they came in and they. I don't know if that was what part of the mob that did this. Buck was going out with a woman that he shouldn't have been going. And I told Buck, I said, Buck, you're going to get in trouble. And he just was. F him.
Well, they really did the business on the place. I thought it was funny. The only 5 things left untouched.
The only spots that they did not touch was the public telephone, the jukebox, our amplifier, my accordion, and my dad's guitar. That's the only thing they didn't take an axe to.
What are the odds?
I know.
Wow. Do you still have that amplifier?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't. But it wasn't touched.
Yeah.
I forgot what we did with it. We had to use it there because we used to put it up on the chair, and Dad would plug in one channel and I'd plug in the other channel.
Yeah. Do you still have your dad's guitar?
No, my mother, my stepmother got that, and she sold the darn thing for $1,000. It was a Gibson L5.
Yeah.
It was a nice guitar. It was worth a lot of money. And I told her, I says, Mom, why the hell didn't you tell me? I would have given you $5,000 for the darn thing, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know who got it. She sold it to somebody on Clark Street. That's all I know.
Gotcha. Shout out to Buck, and sounds like it was a great place to play then, and they treated you well. And even after the reckoning, it does sound like it did get renovated.
Oh, it did. Yeah, we
so
went back to work after it was all
Yeah.
fixed up. We went. Buck was a nice guy. I enjoyed working. In fact, my first marriage to my first wife, Buck attended, and he bought all the booze for our wedding.
All of it?
All of the booze
Everything?
for our wedding. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, he was a nice man.
That's quite the gift
I
for a
love
wedding,
Buck.
too.
Yeah,
That's, half the wedding is, where's the liquor, you know?
Yeah, and I was a young guy. I don't even know how old I was. Maybe 15, 16. No, when I got married, I was 19.
So, when you
And all this time, we've been working different places. Lipstick Lounge and,
So
all
your
the
first
lounges.
marriage was at 19? Did you get married at 19?
I was 19, and my first wife was 18,
Okay.
Marky.
Yeah.
Different
So,
wife.
in today's world, young, 19.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't have to even go into that.
Yeah. Totally. Absolutely. Club Cario, the building. And you mentioned you had. It looked like it should be in Egypt.
Yeah,
right?
all the facades is still
Yeah.
there. I think it's still there,
And that
even
building
to this day.
is still there.
Yes,
Wow.
yeah, and it's
Incredible.
on Cairo, Club Cairo.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's it. That's how
we
you
worked. In fact, Sandy Dean, the guy we worked at the, at the other one on Broadway. I can't think of it, but anyways, he became Dr. Michael Dean. He was a hypnotist. He became a hypnotist, and he was doing a show there. He used to bring up 2 chairs, lay a woman on her neck and her legs up on the chair, and then he would stand on her. Yeah. And
So it was the full deal then, was he an actual doctor?
I think he had a
PhD.
Yeah.
I don't think he was a medical doctor, but I'll tell you, he sang well. He played drums very good. And in fact, I remember Sandy Dean. I call him Sandy, but and when I was living at 643 Wellington is when I met him. He was in the area, and he heard us, I guess, and then he asked me to come over to his house, and he asked if I would be interested in working with him. I said, yeah, But anyways, I'm trying to remember. See, I lost my train of thought now. I forgot what I was going to say.
How long were the hypnotist acts? Like how long? would he get up?
About 15, 20 minutes.
Okay.
He would do that a couple times, and in between we would play music.
How terrified were some of these people getting on stage, or was there a lot of participation?
There was a lot of participation. Yeah, and mostly women. He had mostly women come up.
Okay.
And I remember what I was going to say. Yeah, we were going to the Bar Rouge Lounge on Wilson and Racine, and Gus Cascios. Gus and Lou were the owners. And he came in, Sandy came in one night. Dad and I were working there steady 5 nights a week. And he came in there and he hypnotized me. He says, he told me, it's funny to be hypnotized. You know what's going on, but yet you don't. And he told me, Jerry, he says, you have to go to the bathroom. And he says, but when you get to that door, you can't push the door open to get in, he said. And people were cracking up and everything, and I could hear all of that. I could realize it. I never wet my pants or anything, but it was funny how he did that. He actually.
So you were aware.
I was aware of what
the
was
conversation.
going on. Yeah.
However, you weren't able to open the door.
No, I couldn't get that damn door open. But yet I never, he said, you have to go to the washroom. You got to get to that bathroom right now, he says.
Wow.
Go.
So he was the real deal.
Yeah, he was. Oh, yeah, he was. Yeah,
That's quite an act.
I appreciated. I respected him. I respected Buck Russo. I respected Carl, the owner at the Cairo Lounge. On, I think that was on Chicago Avenue.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
No, Club Cairo.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's hell when you start getting old, Mike. It really is. You can't remember everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you've had some really amazing experiences. Kicking it a little bit down the line, getting into music more, family and partnerships. How did working side by side with your father, shape you as a musician?
He made a good musician out of me.
Yeah.
And my teacher, Wally Korwin, he was Polish. His name was Walter Skarzinski.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that man. I have a letter here where he says that, I can't tell you, he says you're just like your father, and your father was very well respected, He says, and you turned out to be an excellent accordionist, Jerry. He would never give me, I used to go to lessons every Saturday down at 20 East Jackson, and he was teaching there. And I would go in for a lesson, pay $2.50 at the desk, and when I go in, he'd give me $2 back and tell him, give this to your father,
No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yep.
Wow.
And he was a great teacher. I loved the man. And he was rough. And he handed me this book with Latin rhythms and different Latin rhythms for the left hand on the accordion. That's one thing. I have to use a left hand on an accordion. I see so many accordion players, and they're playing only with their right hand, and they think they're Joe Cool. But that's not. Accordion has bass on it, and it means a lot. And so I've always played the left hand. But he told me, go home and learn these. And I told him, how you expect me to learn these? And he said, I can't learn these. And he had a drumstick he used to tap on a metal drum like this. And you tap, and it was all nicked up and everything. He whacked me on the head.
Oh, wow.
And the drumstick broke in half. And he says, and I told him, when I told him I can't, he said, told me right out, then get the F out of here and don't come back till you can. And that was it. I respected.
He really wanted you to pay attention and be there.
And I was. He taught me a lot. In fact, I used to set in for him at the Green Mill every Wednesday night. He had extra activities outside, and he's supposed to start, like at say 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Okay.
And he wouldn't come until like 12, 12:30. Okay. So
That's
then he'd
amazing.
give me 25.
So Wally, who was your teacher, you ended up working for him. Right?
Yeah, I did. In fact, that's when I met Leon Sesh at the Green Mill.
Wow.
Oh, Leon the Lion. He was a good accordion player.
Yeah.
Yep.
You got to see Leon perform?
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. He came in and he saw me perform.
Oh, okay.
He never played there. But amazing. He had his wife's name, I think, was Dorothy. And he was known as Leo the Lion. He was a great accordion player. And he would always make you feel important. I felt like nothing compared to him, but he always made you feel important, tell you how nice you sound. And, he was a genuine person. He was a nice man.
Yeah. And it is correct, he was blind.
What?
He was blind, correct?
Oh, yes. Yes, he was blind. Yeah, absolutely he was. Yes.
Yeah. So must have been a whole different experience for him learning how to play.
I bet.
Learning, the instrument that way.
Yes. Yeah. Oh no, I had some good times in my life, and
But Wally himself, he sounds like he was the perfect instructor for you, and a really good, teacher that was hard on you, but
the first time I heard Wally, my dad and Wally were playing at the Whirlaway Cocktail Lounge on Milwaukee Avenue.
Okay.
And that was like, I think, 10 to 2, And so I went in there once, and he Dad told him that, I used to listen to them play.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to remember, Wally asked me, he said, what do you know how to play? And he said, play something for me. So I put the accordion on, and I played the "Oh, How We Danced on the Night We Were Wed," the anniversary song, and with the bass and everything. So he was kind of impressed. He said, you start coming down. He says, he told my dad, send him down in 20 East Jackson. And I used to take an L down there. I used to go down there. And,
Okay.
And that's how I met Wally.
Cool.
Then Wally got us a job. He was playing at E.O. Cellar, I think 322 Michigan. And he got a job with Genevieve, the French chanteuse. He was working with her. So he gave the job to my dad and me.
Mm-hmm.
So Bob Bilton was the manager down there at the E.O. Cellar. And so we were getting paid, I think, $80 a week.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, and that was good.
That's good money.
Yeah, and we played for dancing and everything.
Okay.
And they kept us there a long time. But a lot of stuff happened there too. The owner. The owner. The IRS. Internal Revenue came in and they closed him down.
Oh, goodness.
And our instruments were in there. But they didn't close him down a long time. He owed back taxes, I guess. So he ended up paying those.
Yeah.
But he, I think, also was a little bit in with the syndicate. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
They found him in a trunk of a car.
Okay.
So they got him.
Yeah. Because I know that it was closed down temporarily.
Yeah.
It was started back up, but shortly after.
Yeah, shortly after. Bob Bilton was the manager, and we worked up on one side. Dad and I worked on one side of the stage, and on the other side they had Johnny Hines. He was an organist. He was a very good organ player.
Yeah.
And we worked opposite each other, half and half, and we ate there. And
it must have been tough, though, knowing that he went missing. That there were, things going on that were, difficult. That there was a much harsher world.
You keep
your
mouth shut.
Absolutely, like you say.
You keep your mouth shut. Dad and I got along with anybody that we met.
Mm-hmm.
And one guy is, he lived in Melrose Park, and I'm trying to remember his name, but he was good to us. He was a good man. Charles Nicoletti.
Okay, yeah.
And some people used to call him the butcher.
Yeah.
He sold fruits and vegetables. Wow. He was a nice man. His wife was nice.
Yeah. I do have to ask, though, did you ever yourself, feel fear?
No.
While you're on the job?
Never, ever.
Okay.
Never, ever.
Okay.
Anywhere we worked when that was going on, they always they just seemed to respect us all the time. I don't know, we just play songs, and they ask for a song, we play it. And if one guy wants to come over and hand you a tip, you put it, thank you, sir. If there's anything else we can play, all my life, this is how I made my living. No, not really. I mean, I worked in electronics, and I worked in a medical center. I did both. I had a lot of children. I had 9 children. Yeah. And I supported all of them. Never was on welfare. Never got food stamps. Never. I worked hard all my life.
Yeah. Very, very good.
And that's how my dad was too.
Yeah.
That's
amazing.
Felt that way. Yeah. But no, they were always good people to us. In fact, we worked for Jerry Cavelli. You look him up anywhere. Look up Jerry Cavelli.
I did.
He died. I think died when he was in California.
Yeah, I saw that car bomb.
Did you? Yeah, that car bomb. That's right. And Dave Falzone. Dave Falzone. They were syndicate guys. Jerry Cavelli, Dave Falzone. Dave Falzone, his wife Monty, used to work at, when we were at Chef Alberto's, 3001 Peterson Avenue. Dad and I worked for Chef Alberto Papilla. And we worked there for years, strolling upstairs, and then we go down to La Chiave, the Key Club, at the end, the last hour. And she was down there. Well, anyways, she was a beautiful woman.
Mm-hmm.
And
A knockout.
a knockout, that's right. And her husband knew it, Dave Falzone, and so nobody ever tried to screw around with her. No, they wouldn't touch her with a 10-foot pole. I mean, and you know, because you just don't screw around with women when they're married to, or going out with,
Yeah.
So
Also, very different time, back then.
absolutely,
And the
Dave
clothes,
Falzone,
right?
they found him. I don't know if they found Dave dead in a trunk or if he just died of a heart attack. I honestly don't remember.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
But he did die, and Jerry Cavelli definitely, he was. But they were good to Dad and I. We worked there 5 nights a week at Cafe Continental, 44 East Walton, right below
Amazing.
Universal Recording Studios.
Mm-hmm.
And Jerry Cavelli would call up and say, the King, they used to call it, my dad was a nice looking man. And he said, the King brothers there yet? And he says, tell him to wait, I'm coming in, And he'd come in every Saturday night, pay us.
Yeah.
Never screw. And we ate every night. Delicious roasted chicken and whatever we wanted. They were so good to us. 5 nights a week we worked there.
Yeah. They really treated you well.
Yes, they did.
How did you feel when you knew he was gone?
I felt sad.
Yeah.
Hell, I felt bad because they were good to us.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. You just shut your mouth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Play their songs if they ask. And Dave Falzone and Jerry Cavelli never asked us to play any particular songs. They owned the Cafe Continental.
Yeah.
So they didn't ask for any songs, but a lot of people did that we played for.
Yeah. It also sounds down the line that the Rush Street, was legendary.
Oh.
The energy there must have been amazing.
Oh my God! It will never be again. It was classy, and people had class. Now I don't know. Nowadays they go down and they want to grab a bottle of beer and they drink it out on the street and then smash the bottle. And it wasn't that way. It wasn't that way. Mm-hmm. In fact, there's one great guitar player, Pierre Bertrand. Mm-hmm. Don and Pierre, they were a strolling team like Norm and Jerry were.
Okay.
Norm and Jerry King, Don and Pierre. And Pierre never liked Don too much. But I thought they were great together. They worked well together. They sang together. They both played guitars. Mm-hmm. And Pierre was really, he was a good guitar player.
Great player.
One of the best. And Don Carini was a rhythm guy. He played good rhythm. And they sang together in harmony, and I remember Pierre, the 26 is a game that they used to play. Guys used to go up and play a couple bucks. They played 26. Mm-hmm. They'd have a 26 girl there, never a man. Mm-hmm. And so Carol was the 26 girl there. And she fell in love with Pierre. Mm-hmm. And they got married. They have kids. And but Pierre was... He was a womanizer, Mm-hmm. He had more women chasing after him than... And he was a good-looking guy. He was a handsome man, and he was a talented guy. And he sang with that French accent, and the girls just used to melt, And so, I can see, so he started running around. Carol was a good woman to him. Mm-hmm. Carol was a nice girl. I was married at the time, so I wasn't looking or anything like that, But then Pierre he met this girl. She lived on Sheridan Road, up near where I used to live when I was in Rogers Park. And he was going out with her for quite a while, I guess. But he ended up getting bone cancer. He died from it, you know.
Oh no.
Yeah. So Pierre he was young too when he died. I think in his 40s, early 40s.
Mm.
But he was a great entertainer. He knew how to entertain people.
Yeah. Do you have any clips or
No.
any?
I worked with him at Agostino's.
Mm-hmm.
When some reason I don't remember why, but Don Carini couldn't make it, and so he asked me if I would work with him, and I did. And he played in the original keys too. I mean, he wasn't a schlock guitar player. It Wave, you know, Carlos Jobim's Wave. It's written in D, you know, and a lot of guys like to play it in C.
Yeah, he mastered his craft.
Yes, he
Beautiful.
did. Yes, he was very good.
So you play all these lounges, all these clubs, you know, all of them just so much rich history. Thank you so much for sharing, you know, some of these clubs. Eventually, you guys played Golf Mill. So the Golf Mill Mall, when it had an entertainment stage.
The Golf Mill was one of the millionaires clubs there.
That's what it was. So it was one of the millionaires clubs.
Yes, it was one of the millionaires.
So there was a theater or a stage.
Oh, there were five
stages.
or so. There was one on Michigan and there was one on Madison and Michigan, I think.
Okay.
Then it was on 200 something South Wabash.
Okay.
We played there. That's the downtown ones. We started at the one on Granville and Broadway. That was the first one we started at. And then from there, he sent us to Michigan Avenue, to Wabash. Oh, and then Ford City, 7600 South. We played at Ford City a long time. Then from Ford City, we went to Melrose Park.
Wow.
In the shopping mall there.
They had one in Melrose Park.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, right on North Avenue.
Cool.
There's a big mall there. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember what it was. It was between Mannheim and whatever First Avenue or something like that. There's a big mall there, and the mall is on the south side of North Avenue. They had one there right on the corner. We played there for a long time. And then Golf Mill.
Yeah.
So there was quite a few of them. And like I say, he used to own all the Peter Pan restaurants. So he opened this. And then after that, he closed those down and he opened up Carson's Ribs.
Amazing.
So that I don't know if they're still in business anymore. Donna's dead.
Yeah.
You know.
For the stage at the Golf Mill location, what was it like? What did it look like?
Just like all the other Millionaires Club. It was just a place where you open a door and walk in and they greet you, you know.
Was the stage a circle stage?
There was no stage.
Okay.
There was no stage.
So it was just like a lounge?
Right, they had a bar. They all of them had bars that you sit at. And then they had the different dining rooms that you could sit in. The main one and then the side room.
Yeah, it's hard to find pictures and images of them online.
Yeah, it is.
Being, you know, in the 1990s, growing up, going to malls with my family and so much. And we've camped, you know, throughout the states, and I've got to see malls even outside of state. You see the malls now, and they're all closing down or decaying.
Right,
There's dead
exactly,
malls
right, yeah.
all across the United States. And it's something, as an artist, I like to get photography sometimes of these abandoned places and stuff. So I frequent Golf Mill sometimes because it's a dead mall. Well, there's nothing in there.
You know, where
it's a liminal space of extraordinary.
Where we used to go, the entrance to the Millionaires Club was it was in the mall, but on Cicero.
Okay.
It was right off of Cicero, and it was the very first building in the mall. I mean, it was. We went out there 3 nights a week.
Wow.
But
I know, like, even Sinatra played Golf Mill.
Yeah.
at one point,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. I will give you. You can take that You can take that that menu with you if you like.
I would love that.
You can have that, and you can do what you want with it.
Yeah.
But I would like you to return it to me when you're through with it.
Absolutely.
Take your time. No hurry. It's yours.
Thank you. That sounds great. I want to say, with that said, playing as much as you did downtown, you were always around great food. It's like always great food.
The best food on Rush Street. They're not there anymore, so I can say it. But was La Scala.
Okay.
You go up like upstairs, maybe 20 steps, and you're La Scala. And we were playing. And it was a tiny restaurant. It wasn't that big. And he says, "You have any pasta you want to eat?" It wasn't like that at the Millionaires Club. Millionaires Club, we could have prime rib, we could have whatever we want, and most of the other restaurants too.
Yeah.
We have whatever we want. But La Scala, all the employees were only allowed to have a pasta, but they made a spaghetti. Now, to this day, Mary tries to. If they brought you out a plate of spaghetti, it looks like plain spaghetti with a little oil on it. Jeez, I don't know what they put
out of this world.
Out of the best spaghetti I ever had in my life. I'm telling you.
Amazing.
Really.
Awesome, Jerry. So moving along down the line a little bit here, recording accordion for the Mark IV on the track Move Over Rover.
Mark IV. Yeah.
Mark IV.
Yeah, Mark IV. Yeah. Yeah.
That is the first time you recorded professionally, like on a track.
For Mercury, yeah, but not for. But I was in a recording studio many times with my own songs.
Studio work.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I did. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember one at Stu Hall. Was at. We used to go to one on Wabash somewhere. I forgot what, but Stu Hall was the engineer, and he was good.
Okay.
And then we recorded in international media or something like that.
Yeah.
And I don't remember. I was in the recording studio quite a bit. But this here one, get my memory back to where we were.
Mark
for
IV.
Mark IV. Yeah. Addie Muscari asked me to do a recording session for him. And we did it at Universal.
Awesome.
Move Over Rover. Before that, they had a hit of I got a wife at home. I got a wife at home. I got a wife. The apple of my life, but I wish she would leave me alone. And they had an accordion player on that. I didn't do the accordion work on that.
Okay.
But for some reason, they couldn't get the same guy or something, and they asked me to move over. Rover never made it. It was like a takeoff after I Got a Wife at Home, because they were kicked out, and move over Rover. I'm she just put me in the doghouse. Is what they were kind of saying, Yeah, but I did. I did a recording on that. It was no big deal, though. I was working at Chef Alberto's at that time.
Okay.
I remember that.
Yeah.
We did that at night.
Yeah. Bill Scully sounded.
Bill Scully and the Dynatones.
Mark IV, he sounded like quite the character.
He was.
He was meeting him?
Good musician. He was a good guy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he spaced out. He committed suicide. Mm-hmm. That's too bad. Because he was
really.
He didn't think anybody liked his music and that shit.
So
you don't die for you don't kill yourself for something like that.
Even in person with Billy, you would have conversations with him where he was devastated about his work. Was he actually
No,
upset
because I didn't work for them that much. I did I did sit-in work for them. Mm-hmm. When they needed an accordion player, I did a lot of sit-in work for Bill Scully and the Dynatones. That was their name, the Dynatones. So they didn't really use an accordion all the time. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they did have an accordion player, but some reason. God, I remember Bill Scully saying, I walked in once, and they were on Mannheim and Higgins. I'm trying to remember the name of the lounge there. anyways, I walked in. Oh, I came from another job, and I walked in, and I saw Bill Scully and the Dynatones. They were playing, and Bill Scully said to their accordion man, he says, "You should hear this guy play." And he said, "You want to come up and play?" And the accordion player got a little upset about it, and I could see that, you know.
Yeah.
I says, "No, I just finished your job." I says, "And I don't want you to do that, you know." But I was asked if I wanted to come up, you know.
Yeah.
And I remember once I did that. We were at La Creperie, and there was a right on 5 doors down, right on the alley on Clark Street. There was another little tavern. I forgot what it was, but and the same thing. I was working at La Creperie. On my break, I went down there, and the one guy says, "Hey, Jerry, come up play the accordion." You know, he said, "Let him use your accordion." So I got up there to play, and. You know, you may not know it, but you have a C button, and usually that has a stone in it. And a lot of accordions have 4 above, which is E, and 4 down from the C, which is A flat marked.
Okay.
But this guy had a stone in all of them. I didn't know what the hell key I was in. I couldn't find it, you know. And so I found it, but, you know, and I said, I will never, ever do that again, you know, and laid a big egg. If they were marks, it'd be one thing. But he had a stone put in the C, the E, and the A flat, and they all, you don't know where C is.
I didn't even know that was a trick.
Yeah, it is.
A trick there.
Yeah, because a lot of times, like the song "Lover," if you play "Lover," you play the left hand on the bass. You got to jump from C to B7, down to B flat 7, to A 7, to A flat 7.
Most accordion players only play with the right hand.
Yeah,
you'd say.
Yeah, they figured the bass will do the job, you know, the bass player will do the job. I got along with all the bass players I worked with.
Yeah.
Bruce One-Luck or I'm trying to remember all of them. They're all past now, you know. I can't remember. Bill Scott, a good bass player. But anyways, you know, I got along. We never got in each other's way.
It sounded like you were around some really talented musicians.
I was,
and surrounded by, you know, great players overall.
And you know, if you get a chance, listen to some of our recordings. My father and myself.
Oh, absolutely.
He was an excellent rhythm guitar player. He was no fancy Les Paul with all the fancy, you know. He was just a rhythm guitar player. But when he played, I don't care who he was with, the person was working with him he just wanted to play. Because my father was a good rhythm guitar player. He could play sambas and... In fact, on my CD, I have one called Oi Negra.
Okay.
And it's a samba.
Yeah.
And you should.
Oh, I'd love to hear that.
He used a string, no amplification. He used a pick on 5 brass strings, stainless steel or whatever they are, you know. But, he was a good rhythm guitar player.
Excellent. Well, speaking of that, usually on the show, I do have... The way the show out is laid out is I talk with my guests and talk with the artists, and then we usually break away and do a live performance or something of the like. So right around this time. This is getting into some live music and some real recordings here of Jerry King, and so this is some of the media clips and some of the performances from back in the day. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in and checking this out. Appreciate you all. Rock, love, peace.
And Mike, I
forever.
want to say thank you for having me. Thank you, sir.
You're very welcome.
I'm very honored. Thank you, sir.
You were meant for me, and I was meant for you. Nature patterned you, and when she was done, you were all the sweet thing rolled into one. You're like a plaintive melody that never lets me free. Now I'm content. The angels must have sent you, and they meant you just for me. that never lets me free. Now I'm content. The angels must have sent you, and they meant you just for me.
And hello, and welcome back, everyone, to another Fullself Sessions roundup. Hope you all enjoyed the music there. Kicking it back and down the line a little bit further here to the year 1984, where Jerry King Orchestra is born. Because you were playing a lot, you had side accordion work, but it wasn't until that year that you actually started the orchestra, correct?
Yes, that's true. After, yeah.
What was it like getting that orchestra together? What was it that you envisioned?
I'm going to be very honest with you. Mike, I thought it was, oh boy, this is going to be great, and I did enjoy it. But with it, I began to respect band leaders, orchestra leaders, any one of them. Man, they work hard. They got to do the contracts. They've got to hire the musicians. They have to worry about being canceled at the last minute, and you got to have paychecks ready for them. Mm-hmm. And then you have musicians that, my son Mario, he started like I did when I was 13. He's a fantastic drummer. Yeah. He could carry.
I cannot believe he was playing the drums at 13 at that level.
Yeah, he could carry any orchestra, and he was great on Latin rhythms too. Yeah, yeah. Even today, he still plays, not professionally, but he was the best. Even some of the friends that I know, Jeff Meissner, he said, he said right out, he says, Mario is the best effing drummer I ever heard. And Mario was good. In fact, I called the Army to try and get him enlisted in that. Wow. And I sent a recording of him.
Okay.
And they called me. They said, it's good, but he's too young.
How old was he when you sent that in?
14, I think.
Wow.
And I really wanted him to get somewhere. He studied with Julie Kiner, a girl drummer that used to be Franz Mettler's drummer in his orchestra. Okay. And but getting back to the orchestra, it was I liked it. Mm. But to tell you the honest to God's truth, I liked going out, strolling tables, and playing requests for people, and not worried about what number 23 in the orchestra book, blah, blah, 23. I would never do it again.
It does sound like a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
Does.
It's gobs of work. Yeah. That's right. And you have to, and then the good guys like your son and Joe Gimple was my violin player, one of my violin players. I had a lot of girl violin players. I worked with Karen Nelson and Joyce Lindgren and a lot of them. And you have to pay them. You can't hand them scale. You know what I mean? You got to give them a little more. And at the end of the line, if I had $500 for myself after all the work, I was lucky, And so I would never, ever, and if there's another life after this, then who knows? God, I don't know. But I would never be a band leader again. I appreciate working sideman.
Okay. Wow.
That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line.
Well, I'm still very happy you did it.
I am.
Like
it was a good experience.
It really was, yeah.
That's right. It was.
How often did you record with the Jerry King Orchestra?
Not very often. We didn't record a lot. We went to Media International and did a a wedding thing or whatever it was. That's when Celebration came out.
Okay.
Okay, that was a rough one too.
Yeah.
For all the band leaders, it was a rough one. But I went into Media International. We had 7, 8 musicians, and they did it for me. They didn't charge me anything, you know. My son was there, of course, you know, and then I did some stuff at what is the one? I can't think of the other recording studio that I recorded in for the Mark IV group. I just, you know. But anyways, that bugs me when I can't think of something. But I recorded in several, and I had Stuart Black was our engineer.
Okay.
He did a lot of work.
The audio engineer?
Yeah,
Okay.
recording. Yeah, audio. He was there doing
Behind the
recording and
board.
everything. Right.
Yeah.
And Stuart Black, he was good. It was a studio somewhere on Wabash Avenue. I don't remember the name of it.
Yeah, it was International Media.
International Media was different.
Okay, so this was a
This was a
another
different studio, yeah.
downtown. Okay.
Yeah, as a young kid, you always write some songs. You know, I wrote a song. I wrote several songs, but they never got anywhere.
Did you ever
No.
put them out for
No,
distribution?
never
anywhere?
tried. No,
Yeah.
had them on
It's-
record. Don Dell Music Publishers recorded them for me, and he took them around to radio stations. If they never played them, I mean, you know, if they did, I never heard them. You know, so but nothing to. I had copyrights on them and all of that. You know.
Well, that is some of the music that some of these people got to hear now. You know, some of these recordings were, you know, that you did with the full band. Was it hard to get everyone together? Was it? Yeah.
Worrisome more than hard.
It was a real headache. Huh?
Yeah, it
you're
was.
like-
And then there were
Yeah.
mistakes too. You
Yeah.
had to redo them. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
In a recording studio, it's a lot of work.
What point was the band the biggest? How many members?
13.
Were there? 13.
Yeah.
Full on.
We
Wow,
had one
that is
up
a
in
full house.
Kankakee. They hired us, and had a 13-piece up there. Hired 15, so we had 15. But and some sat in for another one. You know, and they stayed there for the 3 hours. And in fact,
awesome.
a lot of them went overtime.
Kankakee, just a fun fact on Fullself Sessions in Illinois, they still have buffalo over there.
Yeah.
You can still see some buffalo. You don't have to go all the way to Montana to see some buffalo, which is good. You know,
Yeah, it is.
Those
That's
buffalo are extraordinary animals.
Yeah, they
I'd love
are.
to see them more around. You know.
Yeah, people go and shoot them, and that's not right.
Yeah, I can't imagine the amount of
No.
seeing what happened when the trains
Yeah.
out west really
Yeah,
started
Yep.
to generate there. So cool though, you know, that you still went through with the Jerry King Orchestra, and you know the work that you were able to record with those musicians, and even to put together a party like that and hold that for as many years as you did. It's honorable.
I probably would have kept it up, but I talked to Mario, my son. I says, you know, my wife was sick. She was very sick. And
Your wife
my
at
wife,
the time,
Alice,
at
right.
the time was sick.
We were married
Okay.
34 years.
Okay.
And it was hers and mine and our children. You know, when I married her, I had my 3 sons from my first marriage, and Alice had a son and a daughter, so that's 5. And then we had Jerry, then we had twins, Kathy and James, and then we had Mario. Mario was the last. We named Mario after my accordion professor of accordion, Mario Machino. I named him Mario after him.
It's a great name.
Yeah. And so Mario at that time was in my orchestra, was playing drums with me, you know, and then it got to a point where I couldn't even go out and play anymore. So I dismantled the Jerry King Orchestra because I knew my wife was going to not be that much longer with us. You know, she passed away of breast cancer and with mets to her bones and metastasized to her bones. So that was kind of rough. So the only thing I did after that is I would go out and play solo one night a week at La Creperie, or either up at Carla's restaurant.
Okay.
And that I did that for a long time. In fact, that was kind of the end of it.
Was that the first time you were playing solo, or were you playing solo?
Well, there were
previously
some
too?
jobs where I did play solo for a band leader or something like
Yeah.
that, you know. But most of the time I worked with the big bands. They hire me from 6 to 9, the violins and that, 6 to 9, and then Dave Romaine and some of the other band leaders keep me on from 9 to midnight, so it was like a 6-hour gig, you know.
Wild, but
But when I did go back to one night a week, the only reason I went back to one night a week, Alice was really suffering, and you know, she was a good wife, but she knew I wanted to stay in shape, you know, and so she understood. I went out one night, Wednesday night, 7 to 11, La Creperie, and I'd come right home. But you know, then. You know, and then you can, then when she was going to die, she said, I want you to meet Mary Marchese. She says, I work with her at Quaker Oats. See, my wife worked in the test kitchens, and Mary was an executive assistant. She worked for the engineers. So she wanted me to meet her. She says, she's a nice girl, Jerry. And she says, you know, she really introduced me to her. She said right out.
She introduced you to Mary.
Yes,
Wow.
Yeah, she did. And she says, Jerry, she's a nice girl. And she said, I think she's got a boyfriend. She said, but she's a nice girl. So Mary came over, I met her. And I remember how we met at the door. I opened up the door. I said, you must be Mary. And she says, and you must be Jerry. You know. And Alice was happy.
Yeah.
I was good to Alice, and I was good to all of my wives. I had one other wife besides Mary. I mean Alice.
Alice, where was it that you met Alice?
I met Alice at the Granville and Broadway, the Millionaires Club.
Okay, another one of the Millionaires
She was
Clubs.
at-
You
we
were
were
not
strolling.
joking around. They were all over the place.
Right. She was at the Millionaires Club with a bowling party from Edgewater Hospital.
So playing, you know, as many venues as you have, what do you think, you know, for a place, a performance center, or a venue rather, what is it that makes it feel like home for a musician? Like,
When people are friendly. You know, I did a lot of strolling work. In fact, a lot of times, like Dave Romaine says, Jerry, I just need an accordion player for you. Go in and play for a couple hours for the cocktail hour. And
that's neat.
yeah, and people say, you're going to be here for the band then, aren't you? You know, they're very, and I said, yeah, they usually keep me on. And the people are nice. You talk to the people, you play their song, and they're happy, and that makes it worthwhile. I would do it again. I would be
That's
a strolling
awesome.
musician anytime.
Yeah. Through your journey, who are some of your favorite musicians to play with?
Oh boy. Well, number one, my son Mario. It has to be that, you know. But my father was an excellent rhythm guitar player. I appreciated and loved working with him. Some of the great hornmen, Don Sohan.
Yeah, the horns don't get enough credit.
I know they don't. Don Sohan was a very good trumpet player. He was tied up a lot. I couldn't get him a lot, you know. Hank Stanley, he was a sax man. He wrote a lot of my arrangements for me. He was top of the line. And I anytime I needed him, he was there for me. And but the main ones that were in my life more than the hornmen were the violinists. You know, a lot of great ones. And you know, I think I enjoyed that the most. I enjoyed
Yeah.
strolling the most.
Yeah.
And Joe Gimple I asked him to be my steady violinist, and he agreed. He was a corporate lawyer for Blue Cross Blue Shield, and he lived down on the North Shore, like south of Michigan on Ontario or Ohio, one of the, he had a nice apartment, you know.
And
with the orchestra, playing as much as you have with the Jerry King Orchestra, you know, built a legacy. For you, you know, what are you most proud of that you did with the Jerry King Orchestra yourself?
I think just because I had good musicians working with me. I had some top men. They were good. And the people liked a lot of our jobs went an hour overtime. That's a lot of money for, you know, 8, 10-piece orchestra. In fact, that wedding job where I had 13, but I hired 15, that even went overtime, you know. That's mucho bucks. So I had a good sounding orchestra.
So it was the musicians, it was the people that made it.
It was my musicians that made me look good. That's what it was.
I don't know about that.
Well,
they were the talent?
they were a lot of talent, and I think they liked what they did. And I had some musicians were, you know, some musicians I would never use again. Like this one bone man I had. He comes in, and he starts playing. We were not even on the job 20 minutes, and the guy's looking at his watch already for a break. You know, you can't do that. You got to play 40 on, 20 off. You know,
Yeah.
and that's the rules.
Already looking for a union, only halfway into this. Exactly right. You know what? That's
right. And I never overworked. If I overworked anybody, they were paid for it.
Yeah.
You know, but to be very honest with you, I enjoyed my strolling work.
Yeah. Well, laziness is something that unfortunately can be part of the human condition for some of us.
Yeah.
There are lazy players.
Yeah,
out
there
too,
are.
you know. Like,
Yeah.
there's
Oh,
all
I
sorts of
was
different
always
artists.
riled up when I went to a job setting up, and that's another thing with a band leader. If I and a bass player and Joe would do the 6 to 9, then 9 to midnight would be the band. But I got to be there at 2 o'clock with all the crap to set it up.
That's an early call time.
Right.
Wow.
And Joe would come with me, and Mario, my son, would come with me because he was the drummer. And you have to be there early to get it all set up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jerry, what do you wish today, you know, younger musicians understood about longevity in this current industry?
I think music could be around for a long time if you're talking about the longevity of music. You know, it's funny that you ask that because I said to Mary the other day, I was listening to some musicians on Facebook, and I ran across this one. You know, that now there's some hotsy-totsy accordion players that if I were to call them and tell them you should hear this guy, they'll think, oh, well, I'm better than him. But I'm going to tell you something. Roberto Gervasi, Gervasi. Listen to him play.
Well, you heard it here first, Chicago. And the rest
Roberto
of the world,
Gervasi,
check it out.
the best accordionist I've ever heard in my lifetime. And I mean better than Art Van Dam when it comes to jazz, better than any of the other accordion players that I knew, including me. I told him, I says, Roberto, I can't believe how easy you do what you do. I says, you are the most fantastic accordion player I have ever heard. And I says, I played professionally all of my life. And, you know, but now understand this. This is for jazz. He can play songs, and you hear what he's playing. But when you're a strolling musician, your music has to be vanilla. It has to be so the people understand it. If you play Around the World or Fascination or What I Did for Love or whatever you're playing, one from chorus line, you got to play it so they understand it and hear the melody. And that's what my father told me. When you're strolling, Jerry, play for the people, so they like it.
Play for the people.
And I did that all my life.
Yeah.
But when I hear a guy like this, I thought to myself, where the hell did this guy come from? What is in his brain?
Yeah.
I'm telling
It's
you,
extraordinary where you,
Oh,
when you
my
can hear
God.
a player that is reaching beyond.
Yes.
Yeah, there's some magic players that
And
come
he's
once
a
in
young
lifetime.
kid. He must be maybe in his late 30s.
Wow.
I mean, he's just,
Yeah.
listen to him, Mike. You get a chance.
Very excited to hear that.
Just take a listen to him.
Absolutely. So Jerry, reflecting on just, how wonderful this was just to sit down with you and
with
talk
you
music.
too,
Really, really love this. Coming a little bit closer towards the end, but still do have a couple more questions
Go
for
ahead.
you here. You have thanked God and your family, throughout your story. And it's important for me, to ask, how has faith for you shaped your music journey?
Oh, my God. A lot of people may say, well, what do you mean God, but I believe in God. I believe in our Lord and Jesus. And God has been so good to me as far as music. I raised 9 children. I had to work 2 jobs, day and night, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed my day job, and I enjoyed my night job more. But God has never turned his back on me. He never let me down. And a lot of things I see happening in this world nowadays, the way it is now, and I'm very upset. Some of the things that are going on. Nothing I can do about it. But I can ask Lord to help us out, help the world out. And I do. I praise God every day. I don't go to church. I'm not a religious freak. I don't consider myself a good Christian, but I'm a Christian, and I believe in God. I believe in right, and I believe in wrong. I don't like to see people suffering, or animals suffering, or anything.
It's tough in the music industry, us musicians, and the entertainment industry. Some people really suffer when it comes to that creative mind.
Oh,
when
yes.
it comes to that suffering,
My Creator has always been good to me. I can't think of anything bad. I had rough times. You go on a job and you screw up on a song. So what? Then a half hour later you play it again and it's good. So
it's the spirit.
I didn't let thing like that bother me.
Yeah. That's the only way to get better.
That's
is
right.
To try again.
Exactly right.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. For you, Jerry, what role has family played in sustaining your career, emotionally and creatively?
Well, I was married twice. Mary and I are together 25 years now. And I've always gotten respect from all of them. As far as my music goes, I never came home drunk or, I never gotten in any accident driving because I was drunk. I never drank, and I valued my family, and I treated them like they were my children, and my wife. I respected all of them. And I think all of my children love me and respect me. Nobody's ever yelled at me, I always agree with things that the family would like to do or wants, Like Mary says, this is This is Mary's Christmas.
Yeah, Mary did the set design here for Fullself Sessions.
Every
24.
year,
So-
she has to do this. This is her love. And I respect her. She said, I'm going to go out and buy some new figurines, and you can go out and buy whatever you want, you know. And in fact, a lot of new figurines are on that buffet down there, the little
It's a
Christmas
beautiful,
tree stand.
yeah, beautiful home, really.
She does a great job.
Yeah. If you could relive one night on stage exactly as it happened, which night would it be?
Oh boy. Oh boy, that's a rough one. One night on stage, what would it be? Well, it wasn't a stage, but it was a job, strolling, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lady that came in to Biggs. Biggs was a Victorian mansion. We played there for years, Joel and I. And this one table, woman asked me for a song. I went up and played it. And she said it directed to me. Nothing about the violin, but she knew the violin had to be there. It was nice. And he played one, then I played a solo. And she says, I never in my life realized that the accordion could sound so beautiful, she says to me. And that really rung a bell, you know. It was the most beautiful compliment I ever had. Because everybody thinks you mention accordion, and all they think of is polkas, you know, and it's so far from true.
That's funny. That's true.
You know, why they do? But then there are a lot of people that like to play polkas, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Polkas are nice, and then people like to dance to the polka, you know. But you know, there's a commercial that upsets me. It's on TV right now. This guy is talking about a couple sitting at the table, and somehow they got some money and they're going out and dining, and then an accordion player comes walking down towards the table. And the commercial, the guy says, "No, don't you dare!" You know, I had some good things happen to me, but you know, if I was in that commercial, it would have never been on TV, because what I would tell the guy, you know, like a good example. We were playing at the Royal Fox Country Club, and we were setting up. In fact, you saw the one picture of my band Mario, 13 years old.
Yep.
That was at the Royal Fox Country Club. The manager there, I'm getting out my accordion, he says to Joel, he says, the violin player, Joel and I were buddies. I mean, we worked well together. He says to Joel, he says, did the accordion guy bring his monkey with? And Joel says to me, he says, hey, Jerry, he says, you got some guy here. He said, did you bring an application for the monkey job? And that guy didn't know what to say. He was PO'd all night. He didn't know what he was the manager of the club.
That is
you know?
so funny. Wow.
That ended it. I mean, no more trouble from him.
Schooled.
Yep. And you know, and that's the kind of stuff we do. And I really respect Joel Gimple for some of the jokes he comes up with, because some of them are good. Like a good one, and we learned this from Dave Romaine. We used to do a lot of, Joel would play bass too sometimes.
Okay.
So it'd be Joel and me and David Romaine, the violin. Great violinist, the best. We played these Forest Park, all the big country clubs for all the, you know, very rich people.
Hoity-toity.
Oh, yes, big. And this little woman comes up and says, Mr. Romaine, I would like to have you come and play at our party with the same musicians. And she says, how much would that cost me? And he says, okay, for 3 musicians for 3 hours, he said, it'd be $1,800. And she says, that'd be fine. She says, but one thing. She says, I don't want you mixing with any of my guests. And Dave Romaine says, that's fine, madame. He says, in that case, it'd only be $1,500. That's how Dave was. That's how Dave was, and she gave him a look that he didn't he didn't like, I'm sure, but he figured, F you if you're gonna do that shit to me, you know, you don't tell me how to entertain people. He said, then it'll only be $1,500, madame.
Wow.
That's right.
Wow.
That was Dave.
What advice, Jerry, would you give to someone who wants to play music or get started, just getting started out, but they haven't yet quite tried, they haven't, took that jump yet? Is there any advice or anything you'd throw their way if they're interested in taking that journey?
Well, all right, first of all, I had the opportunity when I was young to learn songs out of a fake book my dad bought for $10.
Okay.
So the first thing I'm going to tell you is, you tell that person if it's accordion or piano or guitar or any or violin, learn some tunes. Learn songs. That's the
tunes.
the main thing.
Yeah.
And when you do start strolling, if somebody has a negative reaction to it, say, I'm very sorry, sir, I didn't mean to upset you. Don't be a Dave Romaine. not when you're getting started.
I like that. That's a good one.
But to go out and try and get to work.
Yeah.
Go out and do it. I mean,
Yes.
if you're going to sit home and practice, you're never going to go out and do it.
Yeah.
You have to go out and do it.
100%.
Yes, and if the people don't like it, you try again.
Yeah.
It all depends what kind of crowd you're playing to.
Yeah.
If you're playing to a bunch of rowdies and they're, potato chip eaters and beer drinking, it's fine as long as you're playing their music that they like.
Mm-hmm.
You don't go play Fascination for they'll laugh you.
I'm happy you brought that up because I, if you wouldn't mind, would love for you to tell us the story about the night you were asked to play the composition.
Yeah, we were in the grand ballroom, and I just finished with Franz Bentler's orchestra, and I packed my accordion away, and we got through at 10 o'clock that night for some reason. We strolled, and then we played for an hour, and that was the end of it. But I was going out, and in the lobby, the guy was sitting there. He says, weren't you with Bentler's orchestra? I said, yeah, I'm the accordionist. And he says, he said, are you the accordion player with the band orchestra? I said, yes. And he said, do you know how to play Fascination? I said, sure. He said, well, look, he says, this is no joke. He says, would you please consider coming up to room so-and-so as 5 something, I don't remember the room number. He says, and just going in the living room and just staying there and play the song Fascination. He says, my lady loves the song, And I'll say, yeah, it's no problem. I'd be glad to do it, And I wasn't expecting any money, to be honest with you. I was
little side gig.
I was flattered, But he handed me $100, and I took it, of course, And I went up and I played for about 15 minutes, and he was in another room with his lady friend or wife or whoever it was, and he says, thank you very much, sir. He says, you can leave now, Packed up the accordion and walked out, and that was it.
Wow. So you had to play the song quite a few times.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And I played it in different keys for him. So for me, I think so it would sound a little bit different. It would sound a little bit different.
Sessions. That's funny.
Jerry, is it possible, you think, to play the accordion metal?
In metal rock, is it possible to play?
I don't know. I don't play metal rock. I never played it. I really don't. I don't even know what it is, to be honest with you. But I'd say, yeah, I guess. Why not? I mean,
I've heard anyone slay on the slaying on the accordion is very different than it is on the guitar. It's all right. It's all on the fingers, right? More
yes,
so,
it is. Yeah, the only way you can on an accordion is do a glissando. You take your thumb and go down the wheel, or you come back with your two fingers up. You know, that's the only way. I don't know.
It's almost like the instrument itself is metal. There's not much you have to do to really. It's a brutal instrument, and it takes talent to play.
What is it? What is the instrument?
The accordion.
It is the accordion?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard anybody play that style?
I have never heard anyone play fast-paced, like notes or scales, like ripping scales at a fast pace on an accordion, but just was curious, like if you've ever heard any experimental riff or players that would play.
Would you like me to find this accordion player?
Yeah,
Really?
I would love to pull him up.
I got so much stuff saved here. He's on here. Just I gotta. And he uses his left hand too. I can hear it. In fact, he and a buddy guitar player, by the way, which is fantastic. No vanilla stuff. It's all jazz, no vanilla. If you were to play the way he plays in a restaurant, they may not like it because it's jazz, unless you're into jazz, But I'm telling you, this. Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Well, I got him right here.
Oh, here we go.
This song is No, they can't take that away from me. Roberto Gervasi. And he's using his left hand.
Gotta use that left. What a flow.
You ain't heard nothing yet. Look how young he is.
Woo!
And
Wow, all right. Yeah. We're talking.
is he good?
Yeah.
Huh?
Amazing.
Yes,
What
he
a
is.
player.
I'm telling you.
Slaying.
I'm telling you.
Amazing.
You should hear
Jerry.
him on the one that's called accordion jazz. You don't hear what the song is, but you should see the finger work. This was a song where he let you know what it was, But,
Yeah.
there will never be another you. You hear the harmony with the left hand. There will never ever be. Listen. Circle of fifths. Fucking little kid.
That's amazing.
Isn't that something?
That's incredible. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing that as well. You're not kidding. What a player.
He is
Yeah.
the best, I'm telling you.
Amazing. But truly, you're one heck of a player yourself. It was truly an honor to sit down with you, Jerry. Thank you so much for
Thank
this.
you very much.
It really meant a lot to me. Last
Thank you so
question I
much.
do have for you
Yes, Mike.
here today. In the future, here, what do you hope people feel when they hear your music?
Oh, I hope they feel what they felt when I was playing it. I hope they like it. And as far as other accordion players, I mean, I you know, there's some accordion players I like and some that I don't like. But I never put the instrument down. I always respect what they play, the way they play it, because it's the best that they can do. And but if there's I just want people to like what I play, and I don't see why they wouldn't. There are songs that everybody can understand, and there's a little fancy stuff in it, not like Roberto Gervasi, but and I'm not, you know, I'll be around a little while, I guess. You know, I'm up in age, but I liked what I did. But when there's a guy with talent like this, I tell it like it is. I don't, you know. I can tell you a couple of accordion players say, well, yeah, he's all right, but, you know, but that's bullshit. You know, they're lying to you. And I would never do that. I mean, this guy is a super fantastic accordion player, and I don't even know the guy, except just what I read. I wrote to him, you know. I told him, you're the best accordion player I've ever heard in my life. And I says, I've been playing professionally all my life, you know. And he said, thank you, my friend, you know. And so as far as answer your question, I just like people to enjoy the music that they're listening to if they like me. And if they don't, they can turn it off, you know.
I love that. Thank you so much. And, you know, thank you for your music and sharing your music with us. Everyone tuning in, Jerry's music links below, as well as if you go into the middle of the performance where we usually do the live performance, you can hear Jerry's music. Really appreciate you sitting down
Mike.
with me and doing this.
I'm honored to have that you've chosen to do this with me. Thank you so very much.
It's really great.
Oh.
Rock and roll forever.
That's
Peace,
right.
love, rock and roll, everyone.
There
Thank
you
y'all
go.
for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in to this Christmas special. Happy New Year. Till next time.
Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you.
Good night.
That's it, huh?
That's it.
That's it.
Painless, I hope.
It was painless. Thank you so much. You helped me bring it back so much in my memory, you know.